Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster, and today we're going to be talking about democratization in fashion. Democratization now and for the past few years has been a really big buzzword in fashion, and I think that's because of the inferred contradiction that it has in it. How can an industry that has thrived off of exclusivity and luxury be democratized? Isn't luxury, by definition, not democratic? Okay, thesis time. In this essay, I will show that democratization and luxury can move forward together. Inclusivity and exclusivity is a false dichotomy in fashion. There is a way to do both. Okay, let's move around here a little bit. Firstly, let's define this term a little bit because, surprise, surprise, fashion is really bad at using this term. Much like the terms avant-garde, which we actually just had a video on, and the word deconstruction, which we will probably have a video on at some point, people often throw democratization around as a buzzword without really defining what it means or without giving any kind of goals as to what they're using it for. The Oxford English Dictionary defines democracy as, quote, control of an organization or group by the majority of its members. In fashion, this would be a nightmare. There already are some pretty not great brands that do this, where they just kind of give the people what they want, and that I don't think is what any of us actually want in fashion. Like, can you imagine what it would look like if there was some version of voting for what the next Rick collection or Comme des Garçons or Craig Green collection looked like? That would be awful.
Wait, are you in my room? You can't film in here.
Why?
Because this is my room.
Isaac, I have to move around the house. It keeps people
Well, you
involved.
can't do that in my room.
Hi folks, I'm Isaac Foster and I was just joshing. But hey, you should go join the motherfucking Patreon and support Bliss on his journey to create better conversations around fashion as an art form. Join today so you can get on that sweet Discord server he's always talking about. Swipe down so I can keep reading the script. Patreon.com/Bliss Foster. And folks, if you don't know what Patreon is, I'd like you to go give it a look so you can find out. Wait, why am I winking twice?
Just read the rest of the stuff.
Patreon.com/Bliss Foster.
And then he real life kicked me out of his room. So we don't want this to be like regular democracy, clearly. We want artists to be artists, and we want them to be able to create what they actually want to create. I'm going to go off of a definition of democratization that I think is a little bit more useful for this conversation, which is to make something accessible to everyone. Okay, so now we're getting into the meat of what we're actually talking about here. Because then it kind of provokes this other classic question in fashion, which is how do we make things more accessible to people? It again kind of feels like we're in a contradiction of terms again, but I don't actually think that we are. Fashion's superpower has always been its unachievability, the aspirational element of it. I talked to thousands of you on Instagram DMs, and I can't count how many times I've heard something like, oh, I love what Kim Jones is doing, but I can't afford it. So let me ask you this. Does accessibility only refer to ownership? I don't think it does. When I was in school, I had this one professor who really loved saying this kind of pretentious sounding, but actually very useful term. He would say, you're setting up a false dichotomy, which means that you have set up this question to have an either or answer to it, when in fact there are more possible ways forward other than just this or this. So here, the false dichotomy is this. Will fashion stay expensive, or will fashion democratize? There's more solutions than that. This is a false dichotomy. I believe that brands can stay at their current price point and then democratize through more transparent storytelling. The process of creating a fashion collection and the way in which they present it are both brilliant methods of storytelling. And that storytelling, I think, is the key to democratizing fashion. We'll put it like this. How many people do you think are going to watch the new Jacquemus show? Probably 250,000 or more. How many people worldwide do you think are going to buy Jacquemus in the next 6 months? Probably not 250,000. But all of the people who watched the show but won't buy it in the next 6 months are probably people who would like to own something by Jacquemus. And even if they're not buying in the next 6 months, after a while, they very well may be customers. And until they're in a position to be able to do that, the brand can keep those people enraptured and fixated on their brand through good storytelling. By the way, I'm not talking about just pounding those people's Instagram feeds with more and more images of Jacquemus ads. What I'm talking about is keeping the art at such a level that the stuff that we cover on this channel, like that's not just ads for clothes, it's good art. People stick around for good art. Okay, so all brands on earth, here's a really easy way to do this. Post your damn show notes Dad Simmons started doing this, but stopped for some reason recently. Iris Van Herpen does a great job of this and even has a general artist statement on her website that covers things in much more detail. Maureen Sayre has a whole interactive experience on her core site. Kiko Kostadinov has show notes up on his website. Artists like Dries Van Noten, Martin Margiela, Yoji Yamamoto, all of them have allowed documentarians to create films about their work. Jun Takahashi of Undercover had his own documentary made about his spring 2019 show and directed a one-act play for his fall 2020 show. Maybe my personal favorite example of this kind of stuff is the recent Margiela Swalk videos, where they outline the full inspiration and process of creating an entire collection. And that's just a small sampling of brands that are doing a really excellent job democratizing fashion for the people that might not be able to afford to go buy their clothes at retail price at Essence. They're democratizing correctly. They're bringing their story and their process out so that everyone can see it and thereby participate in it, which gives people a bit of a sense of ownership, which, I mean, I don't want to get too cynical with this because it would be really easy to do so, but that ties people and gives them a strong affiliation with a brand that's really hard to break. If the only thing that a brand is interested in is money, tell incredible stories. Like, you will make so much money like that. Also, I have kind of a crazy idea, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it because it's very relevant to what we're talking about here. Fashion shows should go on tour, like concerts. Not a crazy amount of tour dates, and it wouldn't be something that would work for every single brand, but I feel like doing the main runway show for press and for buyers and stuff, that's more of the industry people. And then you do 6 worldwide dates for brands like Celine and Rick Owens. Like, that would be incredible. You charge $30 a head and everybody gets to have this collective group celebration of fashion the way that we do with music and with movies, and tons of, basically every other art form has some kind of communal gathering and celebration together. All fashion has is basically an industry trade show. And that's not gonna cut it. We need fashion shows to go on tour. Do you see democratization of fashion in a different way? I would really like to hear about it. Please comment below. Thank you so much for joining me. Do it, my brother said, and join the Patreon, please. Patreon.com/BlissFoster. Do it, do it, do it. It really is a party in there. I really enjoy being a part of that community, and the support is, of course, greatly appreciated. I love you all a lot. With the white hot intensity of 1,000 suns. I think I said that one on another video, but I'm saying it again because it's true. The white hot intensity of 1,000 suns. That is the degree to which I love you. Goodbye.
Lovely people.